That's me?
Is it?
Okay.
Testing 1, 2.
No.
It's Jerry.
I thought I could cancel. Okay,
Testing.
No,
BJ.
it is me. All right.
okay, we're good.
Now we're good. It's all of us.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Like to say play ball.
Yeah, now you can.
You can.
Okay, Dot, any correspondence? You're on mute, Dot. There you go.
I know, I got it right. We have a lot of correspondence because this is from last time and this time. An email from Bill Mastro applying to fill an opening on the Town Board of Ethics. An email from Mark Ween stating he would like to be interviewed for a position on the Board of Ethics. A memo from Virginia Girardi applying to be a candidate for the Shelter Island Community Housing Advisory Board. 3 emails from Tom Field stating he is interested in serving on the Waterways Advisory Council. An email from Michael Anglin stating he would like to continue serving as a member of the WMAC. A letter from Kimberly Shaw Ray representing Michael Anglin urging the town board to reappoint Michael to the WMAC. A resignation from Paul Cucciarulo as a member of the Community Housing Board and Community Housing Fund Advisory Board. An email from Kim Riley resigning from the position of Deputy Town Clerk effective Monday, February 21st, 2022. A letter from Coco Lee Thurman dated March 7th, 2022, submitting her resignation as clerk to the receiver of taxes, effective immediately as she is being appointed to a different job within the town. An email from the town clerk's office that Robert Mazzaferro has been appointed deputy town clerk effective March 7th, 2022. A letter from the Ram Island Association stating the Ram's Head Inn outdoor assembly application for a wedding procession should be denied. An email from Linda Eklund giving the history of the Ram's Head Inn operations. An email from Stan Church suggesting that the Ram's Head dock should remain as a town dock. 3 emails from Rob Cohn applying for a position on the Board of Ethics, and 8 emails concerning the resolution adopted by the town board concerning the proposed removal of the Ram Island dock. And that's the correspondence.
Thanks, Dot.
Thanks, Dot.
That's a record 28.
Okay, and we have a recap of the monthly report. This is the supervisor's financial report for the month of January. We started with $13,552,252.02. We took in $21,004,806.64. We dispersed $15,880,107.50, leaving us with a balance of $18,676,951.16. We have invested in our class accounts $7,227,812.05. And that's for the month, through the month of January. Okay, we'll start this. If anyone wants to speak to any of the resolutions we're going to act on, they have to show their hand waving on the screen, because only Ambrose is here in the audience with us today. So, okay, so we'll start with the hearings. Who's first?
Nick. Around the world.
Yep.
Whereas Thomas Amico 10B Club Drive has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a mooring in Cockles Harbor at Shanty Bay, taking over the mooring of Cole C-3519 in place in kind. Said mooring location was formerly occupied by Cole and designated as latitude 41.07358 degrees north and longitude 72.28073 degrees west. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 90-5 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 4:40 PM prevailing time on the 8th day of April, 2022, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed installation. So moved.
Councilman Colligan seconds and votes aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Bradley Coppins of 32 Little Ram Island Drive has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove the existing dock structure consisting of a 4-foot by 106-foot fixed dock and with a 10 by 10 sewer end, and construct a new 4-foot by 32-foot inshore walkway leading to a 4-foot by 100-foot catwalk with a 4-foot by 30-foot long section. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 53-9, the Code of Town of Shelter Island, the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 4:42 PM prevailing time on the 8th day of April, 2022, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Dale P. Richards, 62 Gardeners Bay Drive, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove and dispose of 80 feet of bulkhead, new 80 feet bulkhead in kind in place, construct a 3-foot by 6-foot platform with a 3-foot by 20-foot staircase leading to a 3-foot by 5-foot cantilevered platform with aluminum stairs leading to the beach. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 53-9 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, the town board hereby calls for the public hearing to be held 4:50 PM prevailing time on the 8th day of April, 2022, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
be it resolved that Lynn Ann Coolidge is hereby appointed to serve as on-call as-needed cook for the year 2022, effective March 11th, 2022, at the rate of $22.77 per hour. So moved.
Second.
I second and vote aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Joseph R. Messing as a member of the Board of Assessment Review expired on September 30th, 2021, and whereas Mr. Messing has expressed his willingness to continue to serve the town in said capacity, now therefore be it resolved that Joseph R. Messing is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Board of Assessment Review for the term to expire on September 20th, 2026. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Howard Johansson as member and co-chairman of the Conservation Advisory Council expired on September 20th, 2021, now therefore be it resolved that Howard Johansson is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term to expire on September 20th, 2023, and be it further resolved that Howard Johansson is hereby reappointed to serve as co-chairman of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term to run conterminously with his term as member. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
whereas the term of Mark Capolino as a member of the co-chairman of the Conservation Advisory Council expired on September 20th, 2021, and now therefore be it resolved that Mark Capolino is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term to expire on September 20th, 2023. Be it further resolved that Mark Capolino is hereby reappointed to serve as co-chairman of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term run coterminously with his term as a member. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Julia Weisenberg as a member of the Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board expired on February 2nd, 2022. Now therefore be resolved that Julia Weisenberg is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2027. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
whereas the term of John Needham as member of the Ferry Study Group expired on January 29th, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that John Needham is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Ferry Study Group for a term to expire on January 29th, 2024. And be it further resolved that John Needham is hereby designated to serve as chairman of the Ferry Study Group for a term to run coterminously with his term as member. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Peter McCracken as a member and chairman of the EMS Advisory Board expired on December 31st, 2021, and now therefore be it resolved that Peter McCracken is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the EMS Advisory Board for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. And be it further resolved that Peter McCracken is hereby designated to serve as chairman of the EMS Advisory Board for a term to run conterminously with his term as a member. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Charles Eilenfeld, MD, as a member of the EMS Advisory Board expired on December 31st, 2021, now therefore be it resolved that Charles Eilenfeld, MD, is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the EMS Advisory Board for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas the term of Marion Brownlee as a member of the EMS Advisory Board expired on December 31st, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved that Marion Brownlee is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the EMS Advisory Board for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Kathy Kenny as a member of the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board expired on February 2nd, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that Kathy Kenny is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Community Preservation Advisory Board for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Tim Pertel as a member of the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board expired on February 2nd, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that Tim Pertel is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Community Preservation Advisory Board for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Albert A. Brayson II as a member of the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board expired on February 2nd, 2022. Now therefore be resolved that Albert A. Brayson II is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Community Preservation Advisory Board for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the term of Charles J. Kraus as a member of the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board expired on February 2nd, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that Charles J. Kraus is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Community Preservation Advisory Board for a term to expire on February 2nd, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that Donna Cass is hereby appointed to serve as Silver Circle Driver for the year 2022 at a rate of $22.59 per hour. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Leon Creighton is hereby appointed to serve as a cook for the year 2022 for 14 hours per week at the rate of $22.77 per hour, effective March 11th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Angela Corbett is hereby appointed to serve as an on-call as-needed cook for the year 2022, effective retroactive to February 1st, 2022, at the rate of $22.77 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Brett Polchek is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the Community Housing Fund Advisory Committee for a term to expire on March 18th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Coco Thuman is hereby appointed to serve as clerk to the following for 38.6 hours per week to be paid as per the 2022 budget. Capital Planning and Grants Committee, Community Housing Board, Community Housing Fund Advisory Committee, Conservation Advisory Council, EMS Board, Green Options Committee, Planning Board, Water Advisory Committee, Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board, Assessment Board of Review, Media Department Personnel, $10,000 per year, Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, Zoning Board of Appeals. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that Blanca Arresto is hereby appointed to serve as a part-time office assistant to the assessor and the receiver of taxes for the year 2022
No.
for 31.5, it's what it's added here, 31.5 hours per week to be paid as per the 2022 budget. So moved.
Okay, just, that's a full-time position.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just
Yeah.
looking
Full-time
at.
assessors.
Yeah, no,
part-time.
just make it, we'll just change it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
We'll
strike it.
we'll amend it to full-time.
Okay.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait, just as amended.
As
As
amended.
Yeah.
Thank you. Be it resolved that Dr. Richard Holman is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the EMS Advisory Board for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
be it resolved that Elizabeth Hanley is hereby appointed to serve as chairman of the Community Housing Fund Advisory Committee for a term to run coterminously with her term as member. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
be resolved that Sarah Gordon is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the Community Fund Advisory Committee for a term to expire on March 18, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Trimissa Overstreet is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the Community Housing Fund Advisory Committee for a term to expire on March 18th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that Marissa Finelli is hereby appointed to serve as a permanent office assistant for the senior center. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that Joe Fenora, 1585 Hobart Road, Southfield, New York, is hereby appointed to serve as permanent town engineer for the town of Shelter Island. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
whereas pursuant to section 31H of the Public Officers Law, a town officer must sign and file a constitutional oath of office within 30 days after the term of office begins. And whereas on January 28th, 2022, Peter Swerdloff was appointed to serve as a member of the West Neck Water District Board of Directors for a term to expire on April 27th, 2025. And whereas Mr. Swerdloff has not yet signed and filed said constitutional oath of office, and whereas the town board desires to have Mr. Swerdloff serve the town of Shelter Island in said capacity, now therefore be it resolved that Peter Swerdloff is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the West Neck Water District Board of Directors for a term to expire on April 27th, 2025. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
whereas pursuant to section 31H of the Public Officers Law, a town officer must sign and file a constitutional oath of office within 30 days after the term of office begins. And whereas on February 8th, 2022, Roxanne Duvivier was appointed to serve as a member of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term to expire on September 20th, 2024. And whereas Ms. Duvivier has not yet signed and filed said constitutional oath of office, and whereas the town board desires to have Ms. Duvier serve the town of Shelter Island in said capacity, now therefore be it resolved that Roxanne Duvivier is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the Conservation Advisory Council for a term to expire on September 20th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Brian Sherman, Commissioner of Public Works, has requested permission to go out to bid for the concrete foundation work at Crescent Beach for the installation of a new pavilion and portable restroom bathroom. Now therefore be it resolved that said request is hereby approved. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas Brian Sherman, Superintendent of Highways, has requested permission to advertise for bids for the purchase of a new hook lift truck with plow and salt/sand spreader. Now therefore be it resolved that said request is hereby approved. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Brian Sherman, Superintendent of Highways, has reported to the town board that the Highway Department screening plan engine had a major internal breakdown whereby the engine was damaged beyond repair. And whereas Heavy Quip Inc., DBA Diesel Sales in Chicago, Illinois, is only one of two engine shops to offer a complete factory remanufactured engine with a 1-year warranty for the price of $18,500, which includes a core change of $5,000 and $500 for shipping. And whereas once the Highway Department receives the replacement engine, the Highway Department forwards their old block back to Heavy Equipment. They will receive the core charge of $5,000, thereby the total cost would be $13,000. And whereas Heavy Quip requires a 50% deposit of $9,250 towards said purchase. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $9,250 from the Highway DB 5130.446 equipment account to secure the proposed machinery repair of the aforementioned engine. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
whereas Brian Sherman, Commissioner of Public Works, has requested permission to advertise for bids for a new 14-foot by 20-foot pavilion structure to be constructed at Crescent Beach. Now therefore be it resolved that said request is hereby approved. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
whereas Brian Sherman, Commissioner of Public Works, has requested permission to seek requests for proposals for design services to incorporate ADA accessibility at the Police Department building at 44 North Ferry Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby approves of said request. So moved.
Second.
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 All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the term of engagement of Jefferson Solutions, Inc., 14 Brittany Oaks, Clifton Park, New York, 12065, for the provision of services concerning a Gatsby 75 actuarial valuation to calculate the town's full OPEB liability and determine the annual required contributions and annual accrued liability. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas the town adopted an employee manual on February 5th, 2021. And whereas the manual contains provisions adding a floating holiday and a holiday for employee's birthday. And whereas the provisions were intended to be deleted prior to the passage/approval of the handbook, but were inadvertently included. Now therefore be it resolved that the following provisions of the employee handbook are deleted from section 701 of the employee handbook. A full-time employee shall be permitted a day off in recognition of the employee's birthday. This day off may be taken on the actual birthday or on an alternate date requested and approved by the department head. And a full-time employee is credited with one floating holiday each January 1st, which must be used during the calendar year. A newly hired full-time employee will be granted a floating holiday for the use during the first calendar year of employment, only if the employee's date of hire is prior to July 1st. An employee must receive prior approval from the employee's department head to take the floating holiday. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall go into effect immediately and that a copy shall be provided to all employees. So moved.
Just give me 1 second, please. Second? All those, I'm sorry? No, this is, I don't think we actually.
With these two revisions,
so,
because there are two revisions in here.
Yeah, so moved.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is a semi-long one. Whereas pursuant to section, to chapter 33 of the Shelter Island Town Code, the Ram's Head Inn, 108 Ram Island Drive, has requested a permission for it as per application dated February 4th, 2022, to have a brief road closure to accommodate a traditional wedding procession to the ceremonial location at the Ram's Head Inn on August 26, 2022 at 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. But from the beginning of Second Causeway, end of Little Ram Island, leading to the Ram's Head Inn, similar to a parade or march. Whereas the required $100 application fee and $100 compliance fees have not been submitted, and whereas the police department has responded that they reviewed the application and participated in the town board discussion with Ram's Head Inn and their clients request to close a portion of Ram Island Drive, Second Causeway, on August 26, 2022 at 9 a.m. Should the town approve this request, the police department is prepared to facilitate a single lane closing of Ram Island Drive, and the Shelter Island Police Department also recommends the following. The police department will assist with staging the procession prior to road closure. At no point should the Ram Island Drive, Second Causeway be completely closed to the vehicular traffic. The land closure duration should be limited to the actual procession time and should not last more than 1 hour. The police department will facilitate traffic control around the wedding procession for the duration of the event. The town should collect in advance $2,000 to cover the cost of additional police personnel. This money should be held in escrow for police fees such as salary, fringe benefits, vehicle expense, and any other unforeseen emergency-related expenses. Unused funds will be returned to the applicant upon the completion of the event. And whereas the superintendent of highways has responded that the highway department, in conjunction with the police department, will assist in any way with cones. There must be minimum obstructions on the open side to traffic of the road during this event, and all garbage must be picked up in the area. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board does hereby approve the event, subject to the receipt of the fees for the application and cleanup deposit for said event. And be it further resolved that the Shelter Island Police Department is authorized to take reasonable security precautions to protect the 50 to 60 guests who will be celebrating in song and dance from the start to finish areas to protect the walkers and the residents. Be it further resolved that the town board strongly encourages all participants, residents, and visitors to cooperate in order to protect the health and safety and welfare of all. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the town of Shelter Island has heretofore established a town of Shelter Island purchasing policy and procedures, which was effective on April 1st, 2014, and amended on February 8th, 2019. And whereas the last sentence of said policy states as follows, this policy shall go into effect on April 1st, 2014, and will be reviewed annually. And whereas the town board has reviewed the aforementioned and suggested no amendments, now therefore be it resolved that said policy dated April 1st, 2014 is hereby approved and adopted for the year 2022. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the supervisors hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $6,702.21 from the police department's account A 3120.491 contracts account to Lexipol LLC, 2611 Internet Boulevard, Suite 100, Frisco, Texas, 75034 for the contract term January 1, 2022 through December 31, 2022 for the police department's annual law enforcement policy manual and daily training bulletin. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas filming permit number 78 was issued on February 9th, 2022 to Paige Dorian, Inc. for filming at 52 Peconic Avenue on February 14th, 2022. And whereas a filming cleanup deposit of $1,000 was paid for said filming, and whereas the Commissioner of Public Works has determined that no part of the deposit was utilized, now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to return the deposit amount of $1,000 to Paige Dorian, Inc., 4425 West Riverside Drive, Suite 101, Burbank, California, 91505. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas the Shelter Island Yacht Club, 12 Cheapwood Avenue, has requested permission to perform maintenance dredging as per DEC permit number 1-4732-00019/0042, designated area of marina to a maximum depth of 6 feet ALW, and the truck approximately 125 cubic yards of dredged sand to an approved upland site. And whereas the Waterways Committee of the Town Board has inspected said site and approved the same, now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the said maintenance dredging. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Josh Sapin on October 18th, 2021 submitted a wetlands permit application pursuant to section 129 of the town code to demolish an existing set of beach access wood stairs to be replaced with a new set of wood stairs and the construction of 2 new 30 square foot storage sheds within the
Nope, that's
regulated,
wrong. That's not the right. Oh, wait, never mind. There's 2 paragraphs. Sorry.
okay, within the regulated area. And whereas Josh Sapin has revised the plan on June 3rd, 2021 to demolish an existing set of stairs and the construction of 1 new 30 square foot storage shed
That's right.
on the lower platform of the staircase within the regulated area. And whereas the subject property is located at 22 Prospect Avenue, Shelter Island, New York, which is within the AA residential zoning district, near shore and peninsula overlay district, with the Suffolk County tax map number of 705.4.5, the property, that's the property. And whereas the Shelter Island Sound shoreline adjacent to the property is not hardened by a bulkhead or rock revetment. And whereas the proposed project includes the demolition of a rotting and failing wooden staircase consisting of 5 sections and 5 landings, which are approximately 30 inches by 36 inches wide, with the walking surface approximately 6 inches by 36 inches above grade, sitting upon posts set in sonotube footings. And whereas the project further includes the construction of a new wooden staircase to be constructed in 7 sections with 7 landings and 1 30 square foot storage shed as depicted in the partial site plan dated June 3rd, 2021, prepared by Sherman Engineering. Whereas the application was referred to the Planning Board and CAC for recommendations, and recommendations have been submitted and considered. And whereas New York State Department of Environmental Concern permit has been issued for the subject project, permit ID 1-4732-01125-00002, dated September 28th, 2021. Whereas this board considered the proposed action at a public hearing pursuant to notice on February 18th, 2022. And whereas the board now wishes to render a decision on this wetlands application. Now therefore, be it resolved that this board hereby establishes itself as lead agency pursuant to SEQA and finds that this is a type 2 action which will not result in a significant adverse impact on the environment. And be it further resolved that the town board makes the following findings as to the application. The board hereby adopts the findings of the planning board and the Conservation Advisory Council. And be it further resolved that the wetlands permit for the above described work to be conducted at the property is hereby granted, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, all construction shall proceed as depicted on the partial site plan dated June 3rd, 2021, prepared by Sir Sherman Engineering. Number 2, construction procedures and erosion controls, including the anchored installation and maintenance of silt fences during all stages of constructions, shall be required and be designed to prevent any runoff from disturbed ground into the wetlands. And 3, soil disturbance should be minimized where possible. Number 4, footing shall be dug and backfilled on the same day. Number 5, existing and new stairs shall be used to bring in and remove old material, and foot traffic on the bluff shall be avoided to the greatest extent practicable. Number 6, old posts shall be cut at grade and at the top of footings, whichever is higher, with the footings abandoned in place unless the footing is completely exposed, and in which case shall be completely removed. 7, the trunk and root mat of any live or dead tree that is to be removed pursuant to the subject site plan is to remain in place. However, the removal of live trees is to be limited. 8, any disturbed area is to be planted with shade and sand-tolerant native plants that produce thick root mats, and shall be confirmed via inspection prior to the certificate of completion being issued. 9, all utilities as depicted in the subject partial site plan shall be attached and maintained under the proposed stair structure for seasonal use only, not buried, and same shall be winterized after each summer season. 10, the existing cast iron drain pipe shall be abandoned in place. 11, the construction site must be cleaned and all trash and debris on an ongoing basis with a minimum once per week. 12, all construction materials and equipment shall be staged outside the regulated area. 13, parking of all construction and delivery vehicles shall be on the property to the extent reasonably possible. 14, no public street or public-private right-of-way may be obstructed or impaired during construction. 15, applicant must repair any damage to any adjacent public road or street caused by construction vehicles to the satisfaction of the highway department. 16, the project manager shall post a sign on the site with his cell phone number and shall address in a timely fashion neighbor concerns regarding litter control, parking, noise, road conditions, and other impacts caused by the project. 17, noise controls shall be pursuant to the town code. 18, applicant shall install dark sky compliant lighting pursuant to the town code and all outdoor lighting pursuant to this project. 19, the location of mitigation measures shall be examined by the building department prior to the start of work and periodically thereafter. 20, this permit shall only be valid for construction commencing within 2 years of the date of this approval. And 21, the building inspector may halt construction for any violation of these restrictions of the unified code. Be it further resolved, copies of this approval shall be filed with the building inspector. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
Shorten what I'm saying if some of these are the same. Okay. Whereas Thomas Kussner on November 9th, 2021 submitted a wetlands permit application pursuant to Chapter 129 of the Town Code to demolish an existing wood retaining wall and paver walkway and construct a new pool and pool patio within the regulated area as shown on the site plan dated June 1st, 2021, prepared by Sherman Engineering and Consulting, PA. And whereas the subject property is located at 11 Dickerson Drive, Shelter Island, New York, which is within the Zone A residential zoning district, near shore and peninsula overlay district, with the Suffolk County Tax Map number 0700-18-3-35.1, the property. And whereas the subject improved property contains wetland code pre-existing nonconformities and is located completely in the regulated area, whereas the application was referred to the Planning Board and Conservation Advisory Council for recommendations, and recommendations have been submitted and considered. And whereas a New York State Department of Environmental Conservation permit has been issued for the subject property, permit ID number 1-473200061/00004, dated August 5th, 2021. And whereas this board considered the proposed action at a public hearing pursuant to notice on February 18th, 2022. And whereas this board now wishes to render a decision on this wetlands application, now therefore be it resolved that this board hereby establishes itself as lead agency pursuant to SECRA and finds that this is a type 2 action which will not result in a significant adverse impact on the environment. And be it further resolved that the town board makes the following findings as to the application. 1, this board hereby adopts the findings of the Planning Board and Conservation Advisory Council. And be it further resolved that a wetlands permit for the above described work to be conducted at the property is hereby granted, subject to the following conditions. All construction shall proceed as depicted on the partial site plan dated June 1st, 2021, prepared by Sherman Engineering and Consulting, PA. I'm just looking, we have provisions 2 through 21,
Same.
and they are the same. No, actually not quite the same. I'll keep going until we get to the last ones, which are the same. Construction procedures and erosion controls include the anchored installation and maintenance of wire silt fences during all stages of construction and shall be required and designed to prevent any runoff from disturbed ground into the wetlands areas. Soil disturbance should be minimized where possible. The applicant shall install a Suffolk County Health Department approved IA OWTS system and submit proof of said installation by the Suffolk County Department of Health before a certificate of compliance may be issued by the building department for the subject pool. 5, an automatic pool cover shall be installed prior to a certificate of compliance may be issued by the building department for the subject pool. 6, a salt cell disinfection device with a cartridge filter in connection with the subject pool shall be installed prior to a certificate of compliance, which may be issued by the building department for the subject pool. 7, the subject pool patio shall be permeable. 8, a 15-foot non-turf buffer shall be planted as per the subject site plan, shall be inspected prior to the issuance of a certificate of compliance by the building department for the subject pool. 9, the adjoining beachfront shall be free and clear of debris upon completion of the project. 10, confirmation that all downspouts at the subject property are connected to a dry well system shall be provided. 11 through 21 are the same as the prior resolutions and is available upon request at the town clerk's office. Be it further resolved that copies of this approval shall be filed with the building inspector. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Whitney McCarthy on September 10th, 2021 submitted a wetlands permit application pursuant to Chapter 129 of the Town Code to demolish an existing dwelling foundation, a section of a front porch, and construct a new foundation, new front porch, front piers, decking, and stairs at the side of the front porch, all within the regulated area as shown on the site plan dated September 10th, 2021, prepared by Sherman Engineering and Consulting, PA. And whereas the subject property is located at 9 Locust Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is within the zone AA, reverting to A residential zoning district, near shore overlay district with an SCTM of 0700-6-3-11.1, the property. And whereas the subject improved property contains wetlands code pre-existing nonconformities, the subject wetlands are located across a paved road and no clearing will occur in connection with the project. And whereas the application was referred to the Planning Board and Conservation Advisory Council for recommendations, and recommendations have been submitted and considered. And whereas a New York State Department of Environmental Conservation permit has been issued for the subject project, permit ID 1-4732-01124/00001 dated December 8, 2020. And whereas this board considered the proposed action at a public hearing pursuant to notice on February 8, 2022, and whereas this board now wishes to render a decision on this wetlands application now, therefore be it resolved that this board hereby establishes itself as lead agency pursuant to SECRA and finds that this is a type 2 action which will not result in a significant adverse impact on the environment, and be it further resolved, the town board makes the following findings as to the application. This board hereby adopts the findings of the Planning Board and Conservation Advisory Council. Be it further resolved that a wetlands permit for the above described work to be conducted at the property is hereby granted, subject to the following conditions. 1, all construction shall proceed as depicted in the partial site plan dated September 10, 2021, prepared by Sherman Engineering and Consulting, PA. 2, construction procedures and erosion controls, including the anchored installation and maintenance of wire silt fences during all stages of construction shall be required, specifically along the applicable property lines and be designed to prevent any runoff from disturbed ground into the wetlands area. 3, soil disturbance should be minimized where possible. 4, no further expansion of the subject project shall occur, including the addition of bedrooms, will be permitted unless the applicable zoning board of appeals, town board and/or planning board approvals are secured. Number 5, dewatering is prohibited. 6, new dry wells are to be installed to capture all roof runoff as determined to be satisfactory by the building department. 7, the construction site must be cleaned of all trash and debris on an ongoing basis with a minimum of once per week. 8, all construction materials and equipment shall be staged on the property outside the regulated area to the reasonable extent possible. 9, parking of all construction and delivery vehicles shall be on the property to the extent reasonably possible. 10, no public street or public or private right-of-way may be obstructed or impaired during construction. 11, applicant must repair any damage to any adjacent public road or street caused by the construction vehicles to the satisfaction of the highway superintendent. 12, the project manager shall post a sign on the site with his cell phone number and shall address in a timely fashion neighbor concerns regarding litter control, parking, noise, road conditions, and any other impacts caused by the project. 13, noise control shall be pursuant to the town code. 14, applicant shall install dark sky compliant lighting, if applicable, pursuant to the town code in all outdoor lighting pursuant to this project. 15, if the location of mitigation measures shall be examined by the building department prior to the start of work, prior to the start of work and periodically thereafter. 16, the permit shall only be valid for construction commencing within 2 years of the date of this approval. And 17, the building inspector may halt construction for any violation of these restrictions or of the unified code, and be it further resolved that copies of this approval shall be filed with the building inspector. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Notice of public hearing to consider a local law amending Town Code Chapter 8 entitled Code of Ethics to increase the number of Board of Ethic members from 3 to 5. Be it resolved that the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on the 8th day of April, 2022 at 4:44 PM prevailing time for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to a proposed local law entitled Increased Number of Board of Ethics Members from 3 to 5. Local law number blank number of 2022. A local law amending Town Code Chapter 8 entitled Code of Ethics to increase the number of ethics members from 3 to 5. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The Town Board has determined that in order to have a robust and efficient Board of Ethics, the membership thereon needs to increase from 3 to 5 members. Section 2, amendment. Section 8-5 of the Shelter Island Code, Chapter 8, Code of Ethics is hereby amended by deleting the stricken words and adding the underlined words as follows. 8-5, establishment membership. There is hereby established a Board of Ethics consisting of 5 members to be appointed by the Town Board, all of whom reside in the Town of Shelter Island and who shall serve without compensation and at the pleasure of the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island. A majority of such members shall be persons other than town employees, but the board shall include at least one member who is an elected or appointed town employee of the Town of Shelter Island. Section 3, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law 10-1I and in furtherance of Town Law 130-15, Section 6, severability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudicated invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment made thereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part thereof other than the part provisions so adjudicated to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 7, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law, and be it further resolved, the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of public hearing. Summary of proposed law. The purpose of this local law is to amend the town code to increase the membership of the Board of Ethics from 3 to 5 members in order to broaden the makeup of the board and increase the effectiveness and efficiency thereof. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Just want to say that that process was phenomenal. And we, on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank all those people that applied to serve on the Ethics Committee, because got a great crop of people that put forth a very good effort in those interviews. Thank you. Notice of public hearing to consider a local law amending the Town Code, Chapter 100, entitled Records Public Access, to designate the chief building inspector as the records officer for the building department records and designate the location for inspecting building department records. Be it resolved that the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 4:46 p.m. prevailing time on the 8th day of April 2022 in Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed local law entitled Records Public Access as follows. Local law number of 2022. A local law amending Town Code Chapter 100 entitled Records Public Access to designate the chief building inspector as the records access officer for the building department records. Be it enacted by the town board of the town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The town board has determined that in order to streamline the process of the Freedom of Information record request, that the chief building inspector serve as a records access officer for building department records and further designate the building department as the location to inspect the same. Section 2, amendment. Section 100-12 of the Shelter Island Code, Chapter 100, Records Public Access to, is hereby amended to delete by deleting the stricken words and adding the underlying words as follows. 100-13, location. Records shall be available to the public inspection and copying at the office of the town clerk for the town records except police records, and at the Shelter Island Police Department for police records, and at the building department for the building department records. Section 3, amendment. Section 100-13 of the Shelter Island Code, Chapter 100, Records Public Access to, is hereby amended by adding the underlined words as follows. 100-13, designated records access officer. The town clerk is hereby designated records access officer for all town records except for police and building department records. The chief of police is designated as records access officer for police records. The chief building inspector or designee is the records access officer for the building department records. Section 4, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to the Municipal Law Rule Law 10 and furtherance of Article 6 of the Public Officers Law. Section 6, servability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjusted invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment may therefore shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part thereof other than the part and the provision so adjudicated to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 7, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to the Municipal Home Rule Law. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of the public hearing entitled Summary of Proposed Law. The purpose of this local law is to streamline the process for making records available to the public by making the chief building inspector, who is the custodian of the building department records, the records access officer for same, and consequently designated the location of inspection to be the building department. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is a notice of public hearing to consider a local law amending town code, chapter 133 entitled zoning, to make the notice timeframes for all zoning board of appeals applications 30 days. Be it resolved that the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 4:48 PM prevailing time on the 8th day of April 2022 in the Shelter Island Town Hall, Shelter Island, New York, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or opposition to the proposed local law entitled zoning as follows. Local law number blank of 2022. A local law amending the town code, chapter 133, entitled zoning to make the notice timeframes for all zoning board appeals applications 30 days. Be it enacted by the town board of the town of Shelter Islands as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The town board has determined that there is an inconsistency in the notice timeframes for zoning board of appeals, hereafter referred to as ZBA, applications, to wit notice via mailing and posting. For all ZBA applications is 30 days, but notice via publication is 30 days for just variance applications, and 10 for all ZBA applications, such as special permits and interpretations. In order to cure such inconsistency, the notice by publication must be 30 days as well. Section 2, amendment. Section 133-34B of the Shelter Island Town Code, Chapter 133 zoning, is hereby amended by deleting the stricken words and adding the underlined words as follows. 133-34, application and public hearing procedures for variances and special permits. B, upon receipt of a complete application, the board before which it will be heard shall fix a time and place for a public hearing and shall provide for giving notice of same by publishing a notice in the official newspaper at least 10 days prior to the hearing, except we're going to strike through notices for the zoning board of appeals and strike through variances. Shall give notice to the official newspaper at least 30 days prior to the hearing. Section 3, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to municipal law 10 and in furtherance of town law section 276. Severability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment made, therefore, shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or part thereof, other than the part provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 5, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to municipal home rule law. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the notice of public hearing. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the town has determined that preservation of the quality of the water in our sole source aquifer is a high priority for the town. And whereas the town has determined that the Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board, WQIAB, should be permitted to accumulate funds sufficient for larger projects that may exceed its annual 20% allotment from the Community Preservation Fund, CPF. Now therefore be it resolved that funds allotted to the WQIAB in the year of 2021 from the 2020 CPF revenue be carried over in perpetuity unless returned to the CPF by resolution of the town board. And be it further resolved that nothing in this resolution shall be determinative of whether future WQIAB funds shall carry over automatically or require an annual resolution from the town board. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the supervisors hereby authorized and directed to credit the reimbursement funds received from PSE&G in the amount of $88.74 to the buildings 2021 A1620.423 electricity account. The reimbursement funds received from New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal in the amount of $3,885 to the 2021 A2680 insurance recovery account, the reimbursement funds received from New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal and the amount of $8,001.33 to the 2022 A2680 insurance recovery account. And be it further resolved that 2022 A3120.400 account is hereby increased by the amount of $8,001.33, and the 2021 Public Works A1490.414 account is hereby increased by the amount of $3,885. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas there are outstanding checks in several funds which were uncollected, and whereas the accountants have recommended that said checks be canceled now, therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to cancel certain checks and credit the following: payroll account checks numbered 5677 for $260.90, 5703 for $135.45, 6371 for $1,527.27, 6519 for $368.42, 7693 for $59.14, 7761 for $132.15, 7802 for $1,053.27, 7955 for $60.32, 8041 for $524.80, 8069 for $325.59, 8074 for $776.34, 8651 for $881.44, and 8715 for $53.21, for a total amount of $6,149.29. General fund checks: 41491 for $250, 45152 for $39.20, 46137 for $223, 46213 for $12.91, and 47055 for $200, for a total amount of $725.11. Highway check number 8541 for a total amount of $252.96. Trust and agency checks numbered 8166 for $100, 8177 for $100, 8181 for $100, 8182 for $100, 8218 for $35.60, and 8417 for $100, for a total amount of $535.60. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that the following funds are hereby encumbered from 2021 to be expended in 2022 with 2021 funds, to wit: $1,325 from the A1490.425, that's the non-highway tree maintenance; $64,740.10 from the A8160.498 Crescent Beach bathroom; $21,691 from the A1490.414, the Town Hall and Other Buildings account; $26,900 from the A1490.200 Public Works Equipment account; $72,458.50 from the DB 5110.445 Highway Repair and Improvements account; $67,589 from the DA 5130.246 Machinery account; $16,000 from the DA 5130.491 Refurbish account, equipment account; $30,712.20 from the DA 5142.447 Snow Removal account; $15,000 from the Taylor's Island cabin repair account; $4,512 from the A3120.400 account; $5,227 from the A3120.200, and finally, $1,763.57 from the A3120.200 account. So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the following 2021 budget transfers are hereby approved. We have a list of 63 transfers. that are available in the town clerk's office. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
be it resolved that the following 2022 budget transfers are hereby approved. $14,235 from the 2022 A 1990.400 contingent account to the A 8140.480 Community Housing Board Consulting account. And be it further resolved that the 2022 budget modifications are hereby approved. The amount of $5,000 and the amount of $400 increase to the 2022 A 2705N Nutrition Program donations, and the amount of $5,000 and the amount of $400 increased to the 2022 A 6772.400 Nutrition Food Expense account. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that 2021 general claims number 2259 through 2296 in the amount of $49,858.94 and 2021 highway claim number 286 in the amount of $89.60 and 2021 West Neck water claim number 49 in the amount of $3,882.30 and 2022 general claims number 66 through 184 in the amount of $71,910.48. 2022 highway claims 9 through 17 in the amount of $2,887.78 and 2022 West Neck water claims 1 through 3 in the amount of $791.46 are hereby approved for payment as audited, and the supervisor and/or any town board member is hereby authorized and directed to sign the approval for payment of same. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas the town board wishes to reinvigorate the Board of Ethics, now therefore be it resolved that said present board is hereby abolished, and be it further resolved that the following persons are hereby appointed to serve as members of the Board of Ethics, to serve at the pleasure of the town board: Duff Wilson, Deborah Grayson, and Michael DeSanctis. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we're going to recess the meeting and open a public hearing on the Santa Seri mooring application. Dot?
The application of Ann Santasari, 11 Montclair Avenue, to install a mooring in West Neck Harbor at a location designated as latitude 41.04905 degrees north and longitude 72.3475 degrees west.
The WMAC met on February 16th by a vote of 6-0. They approved it with the new coordinates. And I'll read those new coordinates when we go through them.
Okay, any comments? Close that hearing and open the hearing on the Harris Dock application. Dot?
The application of Seth and Bonnie Harris, 6 Bootleggers Alley, to remove a 6-foot by 20-foot section, 22-foot section of existing finger pier in South Hole Bay and install a 4-foot by 20-foot fixed section of dock with splashboard beneath.
Again, at the same meeting at the same time, was approved by a vote of 5-0. Yeah,
One absence because
Yeah.
he got there late.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I think Sandra O'Connor, did you want to speak to this? Sandra, you're on mute. Christina, do you have to
Yep.
unmute?
Sorry, I actually have a question for Jack, which because I'm wondering whether they've received the Army Corps of Engineer letter of permission yet. I know this doesn't impact your approval.
Jack
I guess,
Costello?
yeah, he's there, but I don't know. If he isn't there, I mean, it's fine. I'm just curious.
It's coming
because
on.
It's my,
He's unmuted.
oh,
He's here.
oh,
I'm
hi,
here,
Jack.
guys. I'm sorry, I missed the
Yeah,
question.
it's Sandro. I have a question for you because I actually received the communication from the Army Corps of Engineers, even though I haven't owned the adjacent property for a year and a half. And so I'm just curious if you've received the letter of permission yet from the Army Corps of Engineers.
I believe everything's in line, Sandra.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a major reduction in dock size, so I don't think
Oh,
anybody.
I know. Yeah, yes. No, I realize that. There's nothing, but am I right? You can't start construction until you have that letter of permission?
That's correct.
Okay,
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Any other questions, comments on the Harris dock? Okay, we'll close that hearing and open the hearing on the Stabe mooring application. Dot?
The application of Jillian D. Stabe, 15 Montclair Avenue, to install a mooring in West Neck Harbor at a location designated as latitude 41.047658 degrees north and longitude 72.347779 degrees west, formerly occupied by the W2952 Binder mooring.
Yeah, this same meeting, February 16th, to take over mooring of Binder, 5-0 vote to approve.
Any questions, comments? Okay, we'll close that hearing and open the hearing on the local law regarding wetlands and special permits.
So that was
There's
pushed off.
top
That was
left.
pushed off.
So we have to close that.
We're
Or
closing
do
it.
we? We
Recess it
closing
or close it?
recessing? I think we're closing it because it's going to be a different form.
No, we never opened it. So it was supposed to be off the agenda.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But didn't we set the public hearing 3 weeks ago? So we have to open it and close it?
Yeah, so if we indeed did set it, yes, then. that would be
Okay.
proper for-
So we're going to recess this hearing.
Close.
We're going to close it?
Because it's going to come back in a different form?
Correct, there's a substantive change.
Oh, this is the one with the sub, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
So we're gonna have to renotice.
All right, we're going to have to close that hearing and renotice it. Okay, then we're going to reconvene the Toplift stake mooring and pulley hearing. Jim?
Yeah, so do I have to read anything?
No,
No.
just reconvene.
Okay, yeah, the committee voted, but new coordinates on that in Cockles Harbor. Those new coordinates were 41.087943 north and longitude 72.323646 west. But they did approve it with the amended application with the required information. Dot, did they Toplift bring in that information that was required?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, they did.
all right, thank you.
Okay, any comments on this one?
Hmm.
We'll close that hearing and we'll reconvene the regular town board meeting.
We don't have the.
Resolutions?
You have them, Jim.
I have them here.
I was
I
gonna say,
Oh,
I
oh.
thought Dottie
do
gave
have
them.
them.
Okay, right.
just want to make sure. Okay.
Okay, so,
We just slide them around. Okay. God, I'd be happy.
The first one, you said there might be a change in the mooring locations.
Yes,
Sorry.
You have that. Keep
Yeah,
that
you
one.
have that
yes,
one.
I'll change it right now. Okay.
How come I get them?
Give it to Amber.
Wait, you were supposed to be.
No, she did the last one.
I just fixed this
Oh,
one too.
okay.
I have the edit.
All right, you want me to start with you fixing that, Jim?
Please, if you could. thank you.
Okay, whereas Jillian D. Stabe, 15 Montclair Avenue, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a mooring in West Neck Harbor at a location designated as latitude 41.047658 degrees north and longitude 72.347794 degrees west. Said mooring location was formerly occupied by the W2952 Binder mooring. And whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 11th day of March 2022 for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or opposition. Now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned installation. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
you ready, Jim, or shall I go?
Yeah, I'm okay. Whereas answer Sanartini of 11 Montclair Avenue has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a mooring in West Neck Harbor at a location designated as latitude 41.048794 north, longitude 72.347158.3 west. And whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 11th day of March 2021 for all interested persons be heard in favor of or in opposition. Now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned installation. So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Seth and Bonnie Harris, 6 Bootleggers Alley, have petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove a 6-foot by 22-foot section of existing finger pier in South Hole Bay and install a 4-foot by 20-foot fixed section of dock with splashboard beneath. And whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 11th day of March, 2022, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition, now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Part 617, Section 617.10 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act and Chapter 60 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, notice is hereby given that the town board, as lead agency, has determined that the project will not have a significant effect on the environment, and a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Environmental review status pursuant to Chapter 60 of the Town Code of the Town of Shelter Island, Type 2. Reasons supporting this determination. The proposed dock alteration, 1, will not cause an obstruction into navigable channels or an interference with navigation. 2, will not adversely affect the public's right to use town waters or land under town waters. 3, will not adversely affect shell fishing grounds or other aquatic wildlife which may exist in the immediate area. 4, will not adversely affect the quality of the tidal waters, shoreline, or beaches. And 5, will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent residents. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned construction as per specifications filed after said applicant pursuant to section 53-9 of the Code of Town of Shelter Island has filed with the town clerk a certificate that the owner has at least $300,000 liability insurance on the location and operations covered by said permit, a copy of the contractor's current home improvement contractor's license, and a certificate from the contractor performing the operations covered by said permit that said contractor has an owner's/contractor's policy issued in favor of the town of Shelter Island for the liability limits of at least $500,000 covering operations of the contractor pursuant to said permit. And be it further resolved that said operations shall be completed within 1 year from the date of issuance of this permit. Said permit is subject to the recommended limitations and any requirements that may be necessary under the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the Army Corps of Engineers, and any other agencies having jurisdiction. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Whereas Noah Topliff, 16 Jasper Road, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a stake mooring and pulley system in Cockles Harbor at Captain Bob's Landing, midway between the Coyle C3012 mooring and the Featherston C2920 mooring at a location designated as latitude 41.087943 degrees north and longitude 72.323646 degrees west. And whereas the public hearing was duly held on the 18th day of February 2022 and continued on March 11th, 2022 for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to, now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for an installation of stake mooring and pulley system in Cockles Harbor at Captain Bob's Landing, midway between Coyle C3012 mooring and the Featherston C-2920 mooring at a location designated as latitude 41.087943 degrees north and longitude 72.323646 degrees west. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we're going to reconvene the town board meeting and open it up to public. Ambrose, anything? Okay, anybody in the audience have any questions? If you just raise your hand or show your hand.
Should have taken that.
Okay, if nobody has any questions or comments, I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,